What if I did a movie review at night? I couldn't think of another joke. The lighting is just so odd. Like, it's so obviously nighttime. It's so obviously 8:43 p.m. and daylight savings time has just made me miserable. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Becca, and I'm here reviewing the next movie in my journey to review every movie that Robin Williams has ever made. Today I'm going to be talking about his official film debut, which is 1980's Popeye. Obviously the film stars Robin Williams as Popeye. You've probably already heard of this. It directed by Robert Altman and also starring Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl, which we'll definitely have a discussion about. I don't know what verdict to give this movie. I'm still struggling with it. And I just finished like 20 minutes ago and I'm struggling to form sentences, to be completely honest with you. This was Robin's first real film role, so he was obviously very excited about it. He was fully committed. He trained in dance and acrobatics and vocals and dyed his hair blonde because he really thought this was going to be his big break. And then like day one on the set, he was like, all right, that's not going to be the case. The production costs for the film after the set was built and then into production ultimately ended up going $20 million over the budget. There's a scene in the climax of the film where Bluto and Popeye and some other people are trying to fight a giant octopus for treasure, and that is the very day that the studio pulled the plug on the production and told the director that he had to pack it up and come home with what he had. And you can tell, like, in that scene, I don't think the octopus moved a single time. This movie is a musical. I don't really know why they made that choice. I don't think any of the songs were particularly memorable at all. A couple of them were fun. Most of them come kind of out of nowhere in the plot. None of them are songs that move the plot forward ever at all. The finale number is very weak, especially. And that is where you can tell, again, that the production plug had already been pulled, because apparently the director and Robin kind of became friends after they butted heads for a while at the beginning of the production. Robin had issues with the prosthetics for Popeye's arms, like cutting off his circulation, and production was apparently like miserable for a while. At that point in the production, the director was like, Robin, how do you think this movie should end? And Robin was like, oh, Popeye should walk on water. And the director essentially was like, fuck it, sure. And that's how the movie ends. Popeye is dancing on water. I mean, you can clearly see the mat that he's dancing on and where it ends, but, you know. I can't call this movie good and I can't call it bad. There's elements of both. There's things that really don't work at all, but I did genuinely laugh out loud like a couple of times, which I don't do a lot. The movie opens with a little Popeye cartoon popping up and going, I'm in the wrong movie, and closing the circle, which that's a bad way to start an adaptation film, by having the main character disown it. Another production fun fact, I guess, the audio in this movie is garbage. A lot of Robin's mumbling as Popeye had to be redubbed in post because you couldn't hear any of it, and you can tell there's a lot of times where it's not even synced up with what it looks like he's saying. A lot of the songs are muted. The audio quality is just really bad. This is also because the director wanted the actors to sing live on set, so whoever thinks Les Mis did that first, actually, it was probably Popeye. As unfortunate as that is to say. Robin Williams really did, he tried so hard. You can tell that he like really wanted this to be good. He's riffing, he's singing really well. There's kind of a mismatch right away between Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall. Robin can sing. Robin's physical comedy is on point. Shelley cannot sing. And he's mine. Yeah. And Shelley's physical comedy is very like tight and awkward, and she is so annoying. So I've never seen like an original Popeye cartoon, so I think that the character is supposed to be this way. But it was just, I couldn't stand her. I couldn't stand her family. Any scene where she was arguing with somebody, I couldn't stand. The scene where Olive Oyl and Popeye find the baby, Sweet Pea. They find just a baby in the road, and they decide that it's theirs, and that's why they fall in love. It's so weird. This movie, the plot, now that I'm hearing it come out of my mouth, I'm wondering if I'm okay. But the scene where they find the baby in the road, Olive Oyl thinks it's a rattlesnake, and she's screaming, and Robin is riffing, and the combination of screaming and riffing it was like unbearable, and it goes on for like 5 minutes. The majority of the Olive family is annoying. They have a lot of running jokes that there's stuff that they say in response to everything, like, you should apologize to me, or there's a whole running joke about tax through the whole movie. Every time somebody does anything, there's a tax, and that joke got old so quick. The only person in the Oyl family I was like for was the mom, the nanny, this bitch, who reminded me so much of Kate McKinnon in her face and her mannerisms that I'm not entirely unpositive that it wasn't Kate McKinnon, and if they made this movie today, it would absolutely be Kate McKinnon. The physical fights, this is where I started to have an issue. The physical fights are funny because they're so cartoony and bad, and you can tell that they're clearly trying to make it look like a live-action cartoon, but there's something off about it, where at some point it almost just seems like they're not even trying. Like, it's very floppy and loose and whimsical, which works, but it doesn't. And I was laughing, but I'm not sure if I was laughing for the right reason. I'm not sure if this was intended or not. I did get a laugh. There's this one cop character that every time there's a fight or, like, trouble, he runs, which, you know. I just had to know that a random Bluto song is bad. Forgive me. I've taken a lot of classes on, like, music theory and musical improv and how songs should be and how songs should go. And every song in this movie happens at a time where there's heightened emotion, so it could work for a song, but that moment in particular doesn't really work. And then the song is about nothing. Like, Bluto's song, the one that I'm referring to, is he starts singing when he thinks Olive Oyl is going to break off their engagement and he can't find her, which, that's, sure, a good emotional moment for a song. But the song is just him going, I mean, and, like, ripping the house apart. I don't know. I didn't get anything of that at all. But the last, like, 50 minutes of the film is a lot of nonsense. The romance between Popeye and Olive Oyl comes speeding out of nowhere. They're bickering, and they never have any tenderness toward each other at all, and then suddenly they have a love duet with the baby. The whole last third of the film involves, spoilers, Popeye finding his missing father that he's been looking for, his missing father being a dick, somebody kidnapping the baby because the baby is a fortune teller, apparently, and the battle for the giant octopus treasure. I couldn't put together a through line of that last part at all. On the whole, it's fun at times. I think there is something here. And it's interesting, actually, that I kept finding press about. Some websites say that the reviews were generally positive, and some say that they were mixed, like trending towards negative. Based on the Dave Itzkoff book, which is kind of my Bible for this series, reviews were mixed at the time, despite it being the 12th highest grossing film of 1980. So I guess it just depends on who you ask. But if you ask me, I would say that it's fine. It's worth checking out if you're interested. It's kind of a good time. Maybe if you were like a little drunk or something, it would probably make it a little bit more fun. Robin is good in it. He made me tear up at one scene because he was like being so sweet to this baby, and I'm not sure if that's just because I'm a Robin Williams sap or if it was like a genuinely touching moment. I don't know. But if you're interested in watching Popeye, it is available on Amazon Prime, CBS All Access, and IMDb TV free with ads, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but whatever. Do some quick plugs. I officially dropped my podcast, The Time Machine, last week, so check that out. Follow Time Machine Podcast on Instagram if you haven't already. Also keep up with YGSSG Podcast. Donate to Third Coast Comedy Club. Check out the workshops they've got going on over there. And I will see you guys probably next week for Robin's next movie and his first venture into Oscar territory, The World According to Garp, which I don't know if I'm excited for because I think he has a sex scene in it. We'll report back.